Hello everyone, this is Ben Curtin with Tata Technologies, and today we're going to take a look at the home screen in Autodesk Inventor. Specifically, let's take a look at the area where we can see all of our tiles here for recent documents and so on, and I'll show you around some of the things that you can learn how to do to make your work a little bit more efficient from this area right here. So first of all, for those that aren't familiar with the later versions of Inventor, we have something called pinned files now. And you can see here I've got a bunch of files that are in this unpinned category. These will show up here whenever we open something up in Inventor. So any of the recent files I've opened up are going to show up in this area right here. Now, if you want to get back at a file regularly because it's something you're actively working on throughout the day or the week or the month, you can go ahead and pin that file, and it'll keep it in the upper area right here where that's always accessible to you until you unpin it later on. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll just simply unpin that. Some other things you can do from these. So if you've opened up some files and they show up in your unpinned area, and you don't want that to show up in this list here, maybe it was just something you were quickly referencing, you can go ahead and remove it from the list here as well. Some of the other files you've probably already seen, like this one right here. Let's say I was going to pin it. Now I didn't have to pin this, but when I hover my cursor over that tile, you can see there's also an open area. So this is going to allow us to directly open that file directly from our home screen. Notice that the home screen also shows up as its own tab in Inventor, as we see here down in the lower left of my screen. So if I want, I can go ahead and select that home screen again, and I can open up another file that I've recently worked on. So some other options we have within this area. So we looked at the open, we looked at just removing that tile from the list. It doesn't remove the file itself, it just removes this shortcut. But then there's little actions area here where you can open something with options. Now this would be, for example, design view representations. So if you have several design views, we could go ahead and open that up if it was a part file. If it was an assembly file, now we've got design review representations, positional representations, and level of detail all available. So if you had a great big assembly, and you wanted to make sure that you opened up the level of detail that was a little bit more simple, you could go ahead and select that if you had one saved in your list here, instead of opening up the full assembly to begin with. If you just want to explore all the other files that are in that location, you can open up the containing folder as well. So we can see here where it brought us to wherever that file was saved, and we can start viewing other files within that location. I'll cancel that for now. There's also some file details here. So if you do want, you can go ahead and get at some of the eye properties, where that file is located right from this list, how large it is, what its part number is, its description, and any other eye properties in this list potentially. And finally, if you just want to go ahead and pin 2 or 3 files here, maybe I want that one, this one, and the rest are kind of irrelevant to me, I can go ahead and grab that drop-down list and clear all the unpinned documents. That's the same thing as hitting the trash can to delete that from the list as well. Now I'll skip that for now because I do want to show a couple more options real briefly. So right now my default was to show all of the more recent documents for my active project, but if you did happen to want to look at just specific types, you could say, let's just look at assembly files. I'll uncheck all and just leave assemblies highlighted. Or maybe I want to find just any of the drawings related to the work I've been recently doing. So we can filter those pretty easily here. We can also look at all the projects instead of just our active project. So in this case, I've got files from other projects I've been in. Many customers of ours typically work with a single project, but if you don't, this will give you an access or a view to several projects all at one time. And finally, you can change the sorting. In this case, it's when was it last opened. and also when were things modified. So sorted by, and then which ones do I want to see as far as when they were last used. Finally, maybe for another video, there's something called Vault statuses as well. I'm not logged into Vault, so those don't show up, or they're not in Vault right now. Thanks everybody, and keep an eye out for additional Autodesk Inventor related videos.